Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
This is my boomstick.
Here's Johnny.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Righteous! Righteous! Yeah!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Houston, we have a problem.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is Will Spalding, and as always, I am joined by Sam Dierberger. Sam, what's happening? What's going on? How's it going?
Well, it's going well. We were just talking about how busy we've been here at TFN headquarters.
Well, it was tricky with all those lawsuits and the relocation. I mean, lawyers aren't cheap, man. I mean, come on.
Lawyering up is a complicated process.
Yeah.
And in my free time, you might know I work for a law degree, going to school for it. So we'll see how that works out. And then hopefully I can just serve as in-house counsel.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And in-house counsel for TFN. But yeah. So a lot of lawsuits, and we're dealing with that.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're paying $3 million a week for those lawyers. I mean, they're good lawyers, but
yeah, I mean, when you're getting sued by Disney, you need to bring your best. So
yeah, that's not anchor money, though. I mean,
the anchor. If you have any interest in podcasting, use anchor.fm.
Yeah,
because they will get you those the advertising returns that you need to lawyer up during your lawsuit from Disney. But with that being said, we have an interesting show today.
do we?
For a number of reasons. Do we? I mean, have we done a musical that was not like filmed on stage? Have we done a non-staged musical film on this show before?
We have not done a movie musical. We'll call that
a movie musical. There it is. Yeah, we have not done that yet. So therefore, we have an interesting show for you today.
You're teasing it, Sam. What is this movie musical we're reviewing?
I'm teasing it. Okay, fine. Today we're going to do In the Heights.
What does sueñito mean?
Sueñito. It means little dream.
That's it? No story?
All right, everybody sit down. It's a story of a block that was disappearing.
As I see Lin-Manuel Miranda pop up on my screen.
Oh, what a
So this is the second time we've talked Lin-Manuel Miranda. First time we've talked a musical. We did do a Hamilton episode, which we both quite enjoyed, Sam. And we can maybe talk about that just in passing a little bit when we get into the review portion of the movie. Or review portion of this episode, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
But Sam, I can't believe I didn't discuss this last week, and it seems out of character for me, and I apologize for it. But have you ever heard of this person I'm about to talk about? Saoirse Ronan.
It's so funny because we're talking about a film today that has a lot of Spanish to it, and Saoirse Ronan is of course a Spanish reflexive verb.
Yep.
It means to to go insane for a beautiful woman or something. I think is how it translates.
Yeah, it's relevant. Okay. No, I'm kidding. It's a new Saoirse Ronan film, a new Saoirse Ronan film is just my favorite sentence ever. I think. New Saoirse. Those are like my 7 favorite vowels. All right. It's called Foe, FOE, Foe. Sam, I'm going to read you the tagline. I'm going to tell you the director and other co-stars, but here we go. Tagline.
Sure.
We don't get visitors, not out here. We never have.
Ooh.
Could that be some psychological thriller? I don't know. Set in the near future.
Sounds like it.
Set in the near future, Junior and Henrietta. Henrietta is Saoirse's character. Junior and Henrietta live a comfortable, solitary life on their farm, far from the city lights, but in close quarters with each other. One day, a stranger from the city arrives with alarming news. Junior has been randomly selected to travel far away from the farm, very far away. The most unusual part? ? That was weird. Okay. Arrangements have already been made so that when he leaves, Henrietta won't have a choice to miss him because she won't be left alone, not even for a moment. Henrietta will have company, familiar company. Okay, it's very vague, clearly. If you're curious, just go to letterboxd.com and then read the description for Foe because it's kind of formatted weird. But there you go. So maybe somebody's replacing this Junior guy. So Junior is played by Paul Mescal, whom I'm not aware of, but it doesn't seem like he'll be in the movie very much. And Sam, here's what I'm excited about.
Yeah.
It says he's being replaced. And she won't miss him because she's not being left alone.
Right.
Company, familiar company. The only other person listed in the cast, Saoirse Ronan and Paul Mescal, the only other person listed in the cast is one Lakeith Stanfield, who I know both of us are super high on. Great actor.
One of the most underrated working today.
Absolutely, man. The new Saoirse Ronan Lakeith Stanfield movie. I'm in. And it's directed by a fellow named Garth Davis. He did Lion a couple years ago, which got a lot of Oscar buzz, and is a pretty good movie. A couple of
he also directed that Joaquin Phoenix Mary Magdalene.
Yeah, where Joaquin Phoenix plays Jesus, and then I think it's Rene who plays Mary Magdalene. That one's not great. I haven't seen that one, but
imagine falling in love with someone because you co-starred with them in a movie about Jesus.
That makes sense. It's funny, they're engaged now, Rooney Mara and Joaquin Phoenix, and they played a married couple in the movie Her, oddly enough.
Strange.
Who get divorced? So maybe I don't know.
Maybe that's why they haven't gotten around to getting hitched. This is a bit of a tangent, but I read an article last week. Joaquin recently did an interview, and Rooney's pregnant with their kid, and they the interviewer asked him, Joaquin, right? Are you right, like, Joaquin, are you gonna raise your kid vegan? Like, are you gonna force him to be vegan? And Joaquin's like, no, I'm not gonna force him to be vegan. I mean, I'm gonna tell him that, like, eating meat is literally encouraging the murder and mass slaughter of animals, but no, I'm not gonna force him to be vegan.
Joaquin Phoenix is underratedly funny, I think. I mean, he's so people write him off, but he's a funny guy.
He's hilarious.
I think it comes from him being super weird, but he's a good actor. Hot take, good actor.
Hot take. You might not have heard. No, but so back to this faux thing. I mean, it says on Empire, which is where I go for some of my film news. It labels it as a sci-fi thriller. And I guess the sci-fi aspect might just be the fact that it's set in the near future.
Away. Yeah, I don't know. It could be. It definitely could be.
I don't know. I mean, that's pretty interesting too. Sci-fi thriller.
I love thrillers. Thrillers are an underrated genre as well. But to me, at this point, I know I'm super biased because Saoirse Ronan is my one true love. But she's almost. I mean, obviously she's a great actor, but she's almost too smart at this point to choose a bad movie. So I just have, you know what I mean? Like she chooses really interesting projects. I mean, her last movie was Ammonite, which slightly didn't do as well as people thought it would, but it's still a good movie. Before that, it was like Little Women. Before that, it was a few smaller things that were all good, and Lady Bird. But you know what I mean? Like it's almost like she does a movie once a year at this point, and that movie's just going to be good. Is what it comes down to. So, yeah. And Lakeith, man, Lakeith is great. So that should be fun.
Yeah, that's the real prize, and I think we're gonna start seeing Lakeith get more calls from, producers, and he's gonna start to star in some seriously big name projects and not, minor things anymore. Not just The Gardener and Get Out or whatever.
Right. Sam, I know they're not replacing Indiana Jones. Like no one else will be Indy, but he would be cool in that universe.
He would.
Like he wouldn't play Indiana Jones because Harrison Ford says he'll die with that character, or that character will die with him. But he'd be cool, like as I don't know, he was Indy's student at one point, and I don't know, is now a archaeologist like him. I don't know. He'd be cool in a ton of things. So
yes.
Check out our Those Lakeith Stanfield Nerds podcast. That's super big, by the way. I mean, there's
side recommend. Yeah, I mean,
there's lots of listeners over there.
It really needs no introduction.
I'm sure that's where most of you came from, the listeners. I'm sure most of you were listening to that and then discovered we had this podcast. So, but yeah, check that out.
I know. Lakeith, I know what you're thinking. Like Lakeith Stanfield, such a big topic to cover. Like, right. It's like, would you just narrow it down a little more?
We do daily episodes too. So
daily updates. Yeah. There's a lot to cover.
It's like Godfather length podcasts too. I mean, they're nearly 3 hours. So it's a huge waste of time, but that's fine. All right. Enough of that. Sam, do you have any more like industry news type things?
I really don't. It's
don't
kind
know.
of a slow week for that.
Well, what do you say? Should we get into In the Heights?
Let's get In the Heights.
In un barrio called Washington Heights, the streets were made of music. You probably never heard my name. Reports of my fame are greatly exaggerated.
On these blocks, you can't walk 2 steps without bumping into someone's big plan.
I'm making moves, I'm making deals, but guess what? What? Still ain't got no skills.
Oh, In the Heights. I see what you did there. That was good. That was Let's Get In the Heights. That was clever. I couldn't comment on it because the trailer was already playing, but that was clever.
Well, yeah, but like why add words, just kind of throw it in there.
Yeah, of course. That was nice. Before we talk In the Heights necessarily, let's just do a quick recap on Lin-Manuel. I mean, what are your thoughts on him, I suppose? Even if you have limited exposure, what are those thoughts?
I have very limited exposure, and I think honestly most of America has very is overexposed to Lin-Manuel Miranda because of this thing called Hamilton, which like
I've heard of it.
you might have heard of it, maybe, but yeah, this musical Hamilton is just ridiculously successful. It's all that teenage girls talk about for about 5 years, right? And so that's our introduction to Lin-Manuel Miranda. I was unaware that he had done another musical like before Hamilton, and he did. It's called In the Heights. I found out about it this week.
I've heard that too. Yep, heard of all of them.
Yeah. So, but like these have been his two projects, right? We have In the Heights and we have Hamilton, and it's like, yeah, he's not this prolific, incredible, like just pumping out a new musical every 2 years kind of guy. Like he's not like an Andrew Lloyd Webber, for example. He's had like 2 musicals in like 20 plus years, and that's not a criticism. It's just like it seems like America is very well acquainted with Lin-Manuel Miranda, even for him having crafted 2 musicals in the 21st century.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild to think about.
Yeah. I think he composed Moana, the Disney movie too. So I guess he's done 3 things type deal.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. I quite like Hamilton. But his style of music is very him. And I'd like to see him branch out of that too.
Yep.
I hope he doesn't continue. I mean, it's good. If people like it, it sells, whatever, that's great. And I suppose we can just get into In the Heights already. It's already getting old. His music. I mean, it's good. It's good music, but that kind of rap really fast is almost kind of tiring because it's really hard to hear. I never know what they're saying.
Yeah. I mean, if you really pay attention, it's like you can pick out those nuggets of like,
right.
Yeah, that's really clever. That's really well done. That rhyme scheme, that lyricism is really incredible. But there's these people who just listen to like the Hamilton soundtrack, like on repeat. And I'm like, this isn't like, that has always been my thing about musical songs in general. It's like this music was supposed to be listened to whilst watching the play. You know, it's not, you're not supposed to be listening to this on its own. Like the music is supposed to support the narrative. Like it's a pet peeve, but we're not ripping on the music because the music is really, really good.
Yeah, the music is good. You're right. It is good.
It just serves its own purpose,
Yeah, sometimes it's a slog though. Sometimes it's tough to get through at points. Yeah. All right. So we've already spent the first 5 minutes dogging on it. So give me just your general impressions of In the Heights. Just general thoughts.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I thought that it was interesting to see how big of a cast it actually managed. We have a decently sized cast here and plenty of extras. And again, just like anything else that is adapted from a play, you watch the thing kind of thinking about how this would look on stage and how they would, be able to cut between these things, or rather how the director decided to cut something that had multiple perspectives on the stage. So that's always very interesting to think about. But yeah, I liked it. The music was exactly like Hamilton. It's the exact same style. Apart from, kind of the Caribbean influenced and also Hispanic kind of traditional beats that are kind of mixed in with the hip hop freestyle rap kind of way that Miranda writes. So that was new to me. Like I wasn't sure if the freestyle rap style of music was exclusive to Hamilton, and it's not. That's just how he writes
No, yeah, that's just how he does it. Right.
music. So that was new. And yeah, I mean, I thought the movie was fine. I thought it was well done. It was, pretty much what I expected. How about you?
Yeah, this is a good movie. I was let down by it, in some senses, in others not. You're right the music is good, but I was a little worn by it near the end. It was a nice break on the songs that weren't the rapping. The character of Nina, most of her music wasn't, or most of her songs weren't the rap. She was, just, and Vanessa, both of those two characters. Those, they were, I don't want to call it normal singing, but they were songs that you feel like you'd hear on the radio, not these fast-paced raps.
Right.
So those were nice, kind of a change of pace, and worked well. I liked a lot of the set pieces, without getting too much into spoilers, but the pool set is cool, and that opening set piece is cool. A lot of extras, like you said, a lot of kind of cool dancing. I like that. And then honestly, I it's in the trailer, and I thought it would be a bit gimmicky, but the Joseph Gordon-Levitt rotating hallway building scene.
Yes.
I thought that worked really well, actually. And I liked the way that this movie used the laws of musicals, if that makes sense. Some things don't have to make sense, I suppose.
Yeah.
They definitely toyed with it there in that scene. But also a lot of kind of like they're editing images onto the screen, which is kind of cool. And then the characters are doing stuff with the images. I thought that worked. The first time I saw that again, I thought that would get really old pretty quickly, but they didn't use it too much. As soon as it was like, okay, you're using too many things that aren't even here, they stopped using them. So it was good. But I was slightly disappointed in some aspects. I think narratively, or I should say, the songs take a front seat and the narrative of this movie takes a back seat.
Definitely.
Which is an issue when this movie is 2 hours and 23 minutes. I mean, this movie was long.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it seems weird to me that a near 2.5 hour movie falls short in telling its story. I mean, I feel like you could have added 20 minutes to the end of this movie to tell the rest of the story. And that just seems so weird to me and I did not want it to add 20 minutes, trust me. But almost
just make it a full 3 hours. Come on.
Yeah, seriously. Almost like it needed it. And I think again, that's just because, Sam, how many songs were in this movie? Oh my goodness.
A lot. Well, Will, I was gonna say, like, there's a lot of sueñitos that we have to.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Have to talk about.
Sueñitos. That's
you think you could talk about all those sueñitos in under 2 hours? No, absolutely not.
We have to get to every single sueñito. No, there's maybe 20 songs, 15, 20, and I mean, I could, let's say there's 18. If you sat me down with a pen and paper with all 18 songs listed and told me to cut 5 of them, I'd be able to do it so easily. And that, I don't know, that 5. I think so, man. I mean, that frees up time, and then I would say you can tell the story more. I don't know. Those are my general thoughts. I liked this. I think it's good. I doubt if I ever rewatch this much. And I'm a fan of movie musicals. I like musicals a lot. This just, and I play, I'll argue you a little bit, Sam. I play musical soundtracks a lot. I have not found myself going to Hamilton.
What do you listen to?
I listen to the songs on the soundtrack.
That's good.
Yeah,
like what musicals?
Like what musicals?
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of La La Land. I know I've recommended that. I listen to quite a bit of Sound of Music. I'll throw on West Side Story every once in a while. That one's not a super recurring, but point is that I listen to them, and I will not listen to this one. So I don't know, man.
Well, the other problem is that a lot of these songs are quite long, and they often run into each other. There's very little, dialogue time in this movie. It could almost be a hip hop opera, which is similar to Hamilton.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Hamilton, there's like no dialogue that's like not rapped.
Yeah, there's like 5 lyrics. I think. I remember us talking about that. I think there were.
There's barely any. So In the Heights is similar. There's a little more, but it's similar. Like there's very little time spent in just traditional dialogue, which is the principal thing that differentiates a musical from an opera, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, these songs are very long. If you look at the track listing, you have a couple here that are like 7 minutes, over 7.
Oh my gosh!
You have some 523s.
There's 2 hours and 23 minutes for you.
Yeah, I know. And listen, I like long songs. I like, but when you're talking about a runtime of a movie,
yeah,
it's
and look
long. And this is part of the discussion of like heights in a theater, right?
Yeah.
Of course, you would say that, like, yeah, I want to be there for 2.5 hours. I paid for a ticket. It's an evening at the theater. But if you're seeing this at a movie theater, it's like, I don't want to see a 2.5 hour movie. It's not the same, So we have to encourage directors to be like, yes, there's stuff I can cut because a movie is a different format than a play.
And look, I'm fine with a long movie. Trust me. I mean, we mentioned The Godfather already on this show, and that's a long movie, and as long as it warrants its runtime, that's perfectly fine. I just don't know if this warranted its runtime, or at least not for what was on screen. You could maybe convince me of 2 hours and 23 minutes, but not this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the script needs something. It needs a little bit more meat. I don't know. We finished. To me, there's like 4 story arcs here, or 3, I suppose. It's everything. Mm-hmm. It's everything with Anthony Ramos's character, Usnavi, and Vanessa. It's Nina and Corey Hawkins' character, who I can't remember his name now.
Benny.
Yeah, Benny. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then it's Sonny, his Usnavi's little cousin. I mean, those are the 3 main storylines, and they resolved one of those. So I don't know. It just seems weird to me.
Then you also have all those things with Nina's dad. You kind of have that story, which is related to Nina, but
which didn't really get resolved either. So I don't know, man. It's just, it feels weird in that sense that this is 2 hours and 23 minutes, and I'm talking about how like multiple story arcs weren't resolved, or maybe I guarantee that was the intent, but it just doesn't work for me then, I guess.
Yeah.
So
and well, you could also say that Usnavi's cousin, Sonny. Yeah, you could say that like that storyline kind of gets resolved, but that problem of the whole like DACA situation, immigration status situation, that doesn't become apparent until like like 2/3 of the way through the movie. So it's like they introduced. It's like, okay, I understand you can't tie up all the storylines, but at least tie up the storyline that you've had the longest. But they introduced that problem like late in the movie, and they're like, "Yep, that's the one we're gonna fix."
That should have just been cut entirely. That didn't need to be there.
Yep.
Because they didn't do anything with it, in my opinion. I mean, they said like Usnavi. Okay, we're getting into spoilers now. Spoilers for In the Heights. Usnavi, finds that lottery ticket. He gets his money to pay for the lawyers. Great. It's halfway resolved. We don't know what happened. I mean, for all we know, that kid got deported. We never saw him again. I don't know. He's in the DR.
We're hoping for the best.
And it seems weird to me too that, I mean, when he's narrating that is many years into the future. Clearly, it would have been pretty easy to just say, "Hey, here's Sonny," or right. It would have been so easy. I just don't know why they didn't do it.
They could just tack a goatee onto Sonny, and then so you would know, because you knew it was Usnavi in the future because he had a goatee. How the years change us. The other thing was like Lin-Manuel Miranda's character. Okay, Paraguaro had nothing to do with like any of our storylines. Like, that's a wasted song. Like, why are you there? Get out. No one cares about you.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, his song was short. It was like 2 minutes, but I was just like, oh my gosh, get him off my screen. That just did nothing for me. I didn't care about that character. I was like, I don't care about the guy that sells ice. I just don't. And
yeah.
He's not doing anything. So why is he here? Was it just to shoehorn in Lin-Manuel Miranda? Fine, I guess. But
I think it was.
It just. It's yeah. Well, we've ranted about this, and we're both going to give it moderately positive grade. What'd you enjoy about this?
Well, I liked the music. It's really like my same praise for Hamilton. It's just the lyricism is really well done. You can fit like 3 or 4 rhymes into like one stanza, and it's meaningful. It's obvious that there's talent and there's a lot of thought put into these lyrics, and it's incredible that they're able to rap these, as they do. Now, I understand this music was recorded in a studio versus Hamilton, which was we saw performed on stage, but still, I mean, the memorization, the articulation from the actors, I mean, this very talented cast, very effective. I thought the storyline, there were a lot of storylines to keep track of, as we talked about, but some of them worked well. I thought, the will they, won't they between Nina and Benny, I thought that went well.
Yeah.
I thought it worked well. Like, for a musical, that's, pretty good. Usnavi and Nina, Usnavi and Vanessa. Sorry.
Yeah.
Vanessa, I really didn't care about, but I don't. Maybe it's just because like if she wants to be a fashion designer, and I'm just like, I don't. Okay, like, all right, but I just really didn't care about that character. I don't know what it was. Okay. It was never made. Yeah. I think it was that we really didn't introduce why Usnavi has a crush on Vanessa. Because the movie starts and Usnavi has a crush on Vanessa, but we don't know why. We don't see how that crush developed. So that's why we really don't care about Vanessa, because she's introduced as a love interest of Usnavi's. And, it's like, that's how she's introduced, and there's really no going back. So we only really cared about her because she's the protagonist's love interest rather than her own independent character. Of course, later on, she does get that dumb song where she tries to go downtown to lease out space to open a fashion studio, but doesn't work out well, whatever. I'm like, but yeah, I just don't care. So that was kind of difficult. I thought the club scene between Usnavi and Vanessa, I thought that was sweet. I thought it was really cool. We saw some incredible dancing.
Yeah.
Some great kind of like, again, rapping, like character interplay, finishing each other's rhymes while still having an argument over her. You know, that was cool. The jealousy, the envy in the club. I thought that worked really well. That was kind of the highlight scene for me.
Yeah, it sounds like it kind of different from you. I thought the character of Vanessa worked well. You know, I think that character tells a lot about Usnavi and their relationship together. So I thought she was a good character, and I like the way she was used. I think most of my pluses come from the visual aesthetic. So I give a lot of credit to John M. Chu for that, the director. I thought, this movie looked great. I mean, there's a lot going on screen at basically all times. So just to capture that is great. Really good color palette. Loved the way it looked, and I thought that was my main takeaway, was how great it looked. And like you said, dancing, and I mentioned it earlier, the set pieces were nice. And yeah, I thought I really did. I thought Vanessa and Usnavi, I thought both that worked really well. And for what we got of it, Benny and Nina was good as well. A lot of the character interactions are there. I just to not have a strong narrative, it hurt it a ton. It just I don't know. That's my main gripe. I really liked the way that the street that's a big part of the movie, and I liked the way that this block is used. It's used as a character, which is really cool. You don't see that often in movies, so that was really fun actually. It was reminiscent of, and definitely there's a lot of resemblance to Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there, but that was kind of funny. I thought that was interesting. So the utilization of Washington Heights.
Washington Heights
was really cool. Also, it was so dumb, the whole thing getting back to the Dominican Republic. That was just, it was super like shoved at us. Like he kept on I felt like we were getting beaten over the head with him going back to the Dominican Republic. I'm like, bro, it's so obvious you are not going there. And even in those like flash forward scenes where he's narrating, I mean, this little girl is calling her daddy, and these kids speak English even though they live in the Dominican. I'm like, I mean, they're not there.
They're asking their dad what a suanito is.
These kids don't speak Spanish. Clearly, they're in the United States. By the way,
they go to an English immersion school in the DR.
That was so dumb. By the way, that CG of the beach was terrible. Oh gosh, it looked so bad.
Yeah.
It's very clear they were not on the beach.
Beaches are expensive to film on, man.
I guess. They're like, hey Anthony, could you come out to the Dominican for just like a day, literally a day? He's like, nope.
We're staying here.
We're going to stage 8, okay, or we're not going at all. So that's your choice. No, but yeah, there's a lot. There really is a lot to like about this movie. Most of it is visual. So great job on John M. Chu. That was a super, super good vision for this movie on what he wanted this to look like and what he wanted this to be. So I give a ton of props for him. A lot of the performances are there and they're really good. Yeah, and a lot of the characters are good and interesting, I think.
Yeah.
I'll disagree with you on Vanessa a little bit. I thought she was her own character and not just like a continuation of Usnavi. By the way, I wanted to ask you, Sam, what do you think of the little like 10-second thing of how he got his name?
Useless. Like, like, it's just dumb. It's just dumb.
But no,
it's not
Sam,
even worth talking about.
did you get it though? Because his father saw a ship that said U.S. Navy. Did you get that?
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, that's
U.S. Navy.
Yeah.
So his name is Usnavi. Yep.
Yeah, he
It's like
he didn't quite know how to pronounce it though. So two of the syllables are off. Instead of U.S., it's us, and then instead of nay, it's na. So I mean, he's close, but
Usnavi. They couldn't call him like Jose or whatever.
that's pretty bad. Or just
it
call
had to
him
be
Usnavi.
Usnavi.
Never acknowledge it. That's fine too.
That's cool. I would assume that Usnavi was just a traditional.
Right. I would have no idea. You didn't know.
Traditional DR name. Also, real quick, I'm looking at the poster. Lin-Manuel Miranda got his little face on it too. Look at the poster. He's pushing his stupid little shaved ice cart across the foreground. I'm like, dude, he's in the poster. He has one song. Like, get out.
I gotta find this. That like the poster with Anthony Ramos in the middle, or which one? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's yeah. Like, dude.
That's a cool.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know. I don't want. Yeah. Here's the thing about this movie, In the Heights. If you're like us and you watch a lot of movies on a regular basis, then In the Heights plays a little worse than you might expect. But if you're someone who really likes musicals and is like, sweet, they made a movie adaptation of In the Heights. I love that musical. Let me sit down and watch it. You're going to have a good time with it because it's well done. It's well done for what it is. But on its own, as a movie, as a film, it's just a little messy. That's all. I think that's like my quintessential point on In the Heights.
Yeah, it is a little sloppy. What are some other? Do you have any other positives or negatives that you want to hit on?
I thought that some of the harmonies were really well done. I'm thinking specifically of Abuela's song, Paciencia y Fe.
I hated that. Get that out. That would have been the first one I would have cut.
Really?
It was just so useless, man. Just show me she's dying and that's it.
It was a good song. It was well composed, well arranged. Did it have anything to do with the, like, was it important for the story structure? No, of course not. It was well done. I don't know. I don't want it to sound like we're ripping on this movie because it's really not a bad movie at all.
It's not. It is a well-made movie. Its flaws are very obvious.
Yes, sure.
Some movies hide its flaws very well. I mean, you could watch a movie and it could have 20 things wrong with it, and you'd watch it not very carefully, and you'd be like, "No, that's perfect." This movie is not one of them. I feel like if you're just kind of watching, you will find its mistakes, and pretty easily. And same goes for its positives. I think its positives are really out there too. You don't have to look hard to find something good about this movie either.
Right.
It occupies a weird space of like. I think about this movie and I'm like, man, that was a great moment. And then I think about another thing and I'm like, gosh, that was really bad.
Yeah.
It's odd. It's very odd. I feel like this is one. I mean, this is going to be nominated for Best Picture. I mean, this is going to be nominated for everything. I hate to say it. It's a good movie, so I can't even say I hate to say it, but it's going to be one at the end of the year I look back on, and I feel like I'm not going to be able to formulate my complete star rating until the end of the year because I'm just going to be like, I'm going to keep going back and forth. Between this is good and this is really good. It's one of those two. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So this one will be an interesting look back to see how well it's aged.
Right.
Gosh, that's about all I have on this movie. I would just
say that's literally all I have to.
Yeah, I would say this is a cool theater experience. I mean,
definitely.
On a big screen was cool with the sound blaring. My biggest pro about this movie, I said it multiple times, is the big numbers. I mean, I loved the pool scene. And that was one of my favorite songs, the 96,000. I actually don't know what it's called, but there's like 3 songs going at once, and everyone in the whole cast seems to be involved. That was really cool, and I love the building scene too. That was really pretty fun. I just needed some JGL, and it would have been perfect. But
seriously,
there is a lot to like about this. My final question to you, Sam, is: are you going to be, or do you think you'll be higher on this or West Side Story later this year?
Oh, that's a good question.
Spielberg, man. Steve Spielberg. Have you heard of him?
I feel like West Side Story is okay. One, as we already talked about, no one asked for a remake of West Side Story.
I did. I wrote letters every day.
I said we're only getting a remake of West Side Story.
I said, please give me a remake. That's all I'm asking. I just can't wait for a remake of West Side Story.
And it got delayed, and you've just been waiting so long.
I have, yeah. Ever since.
Both New York movies both involve Hispanic Islander casts.
That's why Ansel is playing the main character. Yep.
Of course.
I'm with you.
I think that's going to be tough to say.
Spielberg.
I think West Side Story will just be. I think it's hard to screw that up. It's a safe play. It's a beautiful story, some beautiful music, and I mean, they would have to do something really offensive for me to not like it.
Man, that might be it too.
You never know. They might just pull something, and it's like, what are you? Yeah. What? No. So we'll see. Right now, I'll say West Side Story. Sure.
Yeah, I think I'd say the same thing. But honestly, I hope to not be proven wrong because I want to like that movie. So I don't know, man. Should we get into some star ratings?
Yeah, let's get into some star ratings.
You go for it because I don't even know what I'm going to do yet.
I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to say like 3 stars out of 5 is what I would say, because I think there's a lot of talent here, and I think the talent is quite obvious, but as you say, the flaws are also quite obvious. So that's what I'm going with. How about you?
So we're recording this on Thursday. I saw this on Tuesday. When I came out of the movie, I was like, okay, that's probably like a 3.5, maybe even kind of close to a 4. And then like the next day I was like, no, that's a 3.5. Then like later in that day, I'm like, I That's maybe a 3, maybe a 3. And then today, and then talking about it here, I'm going 3 as well. This is a good movie. I mean, we say 3 stars are good movies. And we're gonna get. I feel like we're just totally wrong on this, Sam, and we just don't get art, man. We just don't get it.
No, we probably don't. I mean, we're gonna get hurt by the theater nerds.
The In the Heights community, yeah.
The In the Heights community is very, very robust.
Our interns are telling us to say this, so just beat up them. Yeah, 3 stars. I don't know. I could be persuaded to be worked up. Maybe this is a great like second watch. I'm not sure. I don't know. So I'm gonna stick with 3 for now. There's a lot to like about this movie. I know we kind of dogged on it the whole time, but I feel like we needed to justify why we were gonna give a low. I say low in air quotes.
Right.
Because man, this thing is killing it. I mean, it's like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. Everybody loves this. So I don't know. I feel like we needed to justify, which feels weird. I hate that. I hate when you say you like a movie, but you say you don't love one, and people just attack you because you didn't think it was the greatest thing since sliced.
Well,
I don't know.
You know, the professional critics. If any musical movie is competently made, which In the Heights is, it's going to get unanimous praise.
Yeah.
Because any musical movie is an ambitious project, you know. So
that's why Sam and I are working on our script.
They're seeing a bit of a renaissance lately.
Yeah.
We have several in the works.
Yeah. It's gonna crush. Let's just say that. So there we go. In the Heights.
99%.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Check it out. Let's talk about just some quick recommendations for the week, Sam. And then we can get out of here.
Yeah, I actually have one ready.
Go for it, man.
I started watching a 4-part HBO documentary called Heaven's Gate: The Cult of Cults, and it combines my 2 favorite things, which are, of course, cults and UFOs.
Yes.
This one is freaking interesting. I've only watched 1 episode of 4, but it's fascinating stuff. The beginnings of a cult that eventually ended in the mass suicide of like 40 people in like 1997. So that's kind of cool. You know, you think Jonestown was late 70s. So 1997, like that was close. Like that was not too far from when we were born. So I'm really enjoying it so far, you know, enjoying it as much as I can for given the subject material. But yeah, check out Heaven's Gate on HBO. Really interesting.
Yeah, and mail in if you'd like to join our cult.
Oh yeah, we also have a cult.
We have good membership too, and lots of benefits. So let us know.
You have more fun as a follower, but you make more money as a leader.
Yeah. So I'm going to recommend a podcast, which I guess there's other podcasts. I don't know when people are going to tell me this. So, but yeah, I'm going to recommend the Conan O'Brien podcast. Conan is, to me, at the moment, he's the king of late night television shows. You know, I don't stay up late because I'm 50 and go to bed at 9:30. But
right.
Yeah. But I watch his show on replayed segments on YouTube. So that's the best way to consume it. That's the way he would want me to. But the podcast, the Conan O'Brien podcast, Conan Needs a Friend, I believe is what it's called. Super funny. I mean, Conan's hilarious. And it's a bit late, but I'll recommend, since we just did, did we just do A Quiet Place 2 last weekend or last week? I think we did. So I'll recommend his specific episode with John Krasinski that he just did not too long ago. So check that out. Just check out. Yeah, Conan O'Brien needs a friend. Great stuff. Super funny dude. So yeah, there we go.
Excellent. I'll have to check that out.
Well, Sam,
Conan has always been the king of late night.
oh gosh,
At least since.
he is so funny. Like, I mean, you can't talk about Conan without Letterman. Obviously, he takes a ton of inspiration from Letterman, but man, he's the top of his game. We need to have a late night TV show conversation sometime. I think it's an interesting one.
Ooh, yeah, that'll be fun. The late night wars.
We just need.
Stuff.
I'm still petitioning for a Melissa McCarthy late night show because that's what we all want. That's just gonna be awesome, right? Or
yeah, and
Rebel Wilson and James Corden, both of them together. I mean,
I knew it. Yes. We need that. We need that.
So
The funniest people on the planet.
yeah, Sam. Do you not think it's funny when they fall over?
I think it's hilarious.
They fall over. They fall down, and it's awesome. Okay.
But he can also sing in the car. So I mean,
You're right. Yeah, and I also saw Cats. So he can sing in an animatronic cat suit as well. That's pretty cool.
talented man, James Corden. But anyway,
where can I find you on Letterboxd, Sam?
you can find me at letterboxd.com/sjdierberger. And where can I find you, Will?
You can find me on Letterboxd at Rebel Wilson and James Corden Forever. That's 4, the number 4, and then no, I'm kidding. You can find me there at willspalding, and you can find the show at anchor.fm/thosefilmnerds, and you can find us at thosefilmnerds.weebly.com, where we have some blog posts up there for you guys to check out, and find us at Those Film Nerds on all podcast platforms, and at thosefilmnerds@gmail.com. If there's any questions or movie related things, then let us know that. But Sam, until next time,
Keep watching movies, everyone. Have a great week.
thank you.
Ever thought about making a podcast? Well, Anchor is the easiest and simplest way to do so. Let me explain. For starters, it's free. There's also creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone, laptop, or computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on multiple platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, and much, much more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need in a podcast in one place. So give it a try.